All right, we're live. We are live. What's going on, you guys? Dallas Cowboy football news in the house. I got my boy, Fifth Quarter Cowboys. If you're not subscribed to them, do that immediately. And Fifth Quarter Cowboys will take care of you with some awesome content. Introduce yourself.
What's going on? Dallas Cowboy football news fans. What's up? How y'all doing? Is that a child? Yeah, man. Glad to be on my brother's channel, man. Glad to be on this channel. It's a pleasure. It's an honor, man. I was watching this guy before I even said a word to him. So I'm just happy to be here. We're gonna talk some Dallas Cowboy football, man. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Take it away, bro.
Exactly. The Dallas Cowboys, Fifth Quarter Cowboys, as you know, they're going to Seattle. John Shango, the Dallas Cowboys show, has a famous song saying, "We're going back to Adam, Adam, Adam. We're going back to," and that's what we're doing on Sunday, America's Game of the Week. What is the expectation knowing Xavier Woods is healthy, Dayton Jones is back, and this front seven right here, the top five front seven, is healthy, going in Seattle, knowing that their offensive line is weak. What is your expectation, in your opinion, of what's going to go down on Sunday?
First of all, hello, Billy Joe, in the comment in the chat. Well, I expect us to have an advantage. People saying that Seattle might have an advantage because they think they know what defense we're going to run because we got Chris Richard. But I can know you're gonna send me a right hook, but that don't mean I'm prepared for it. And there's no way you can prepare for Tank and Randy Gregory out there at the same time. You just can't prepare for those two at the same time. So I don't care what they do. You can't really prepare for Cheeto. Can't really prepare for Byron Jones. So I think we're going to once again. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I see Russell Wilson getting sacked a couple of times. I'm gonna say four. I don't see any big yards from anyone because our cornerbacks are just that good. I don't know who their running back is. They got an okay defense. It ain't what it used to be, but it's okay. You got the twin brothers out there. They're pretty good. You know what? Seriously, if Joe Looney can get up to the second level of tackling, we might have that big run we've been looking for. Working class Cowboy, what's up? We probably got that big run we've been looking for. But overall, you know, this isn't the Legion of Boom or Doom or whatever they call themselves. You know, that's long gone. That's long gone. So I'm not expecting anything spectacular from the Seahawks. I'm expecting the Cowboys to carry over and continue the energy that they brought last week versus the Giants. I see it only getting better. I see Jalen Smith stepping up, having a bigger game. If Sean Lee's playing, I see him getting a lot of tackles. I see tackling being way better this week because it's embarrassing to miss tackles as an adult when you have your hands on them. I actually see an interception coming this week from Cheeto. I see Cheeto getting an interception this week. I'm calling it now. Cheeto getting an interception. Russell Wilson, 4 sacks. No big yardage from Seattle, really. And I just expect a better game than last week. Even though we won, I expect them to improve and to keep that energy they had from last week and elevate it. So overall, I'm just expecting a solid Cowboys game and convincing. I say we had a game wrapped up at the beginning of the fourth quarter, to whereas you know, they don't really have a chance to beat us because our defense is just playing that way. And Zeke is really going to catch fire here soon. So overall, I just see us having a really solid, convincing winning game this Sunday, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the Dallas Cowboys, you know, they got to get their offense on track. They had a wonderful first quarter last week against the Giants. Second and third quarter, when they were sputtering, and then they turned it on finally in the fourth quarter. So, having said that, and I like your answer on their defense, our defense, stuff like that, Chris Richard, and they know that offense and all that stuff. So what are you – like Dak Prescott, let's talk about Dak. I don't want to use the word hard on Dak, but your bar for Dak Prescott is set probably a little bit higher than most typical Dallas Cowboy fans. So going into the Seattle, knowing that it's tough to play there, how much pressure is actually on Dak?
Well, I think anytime you're playing a safety of Earl Thomas stature, you're under a lot of pressure. I don't care who you are, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, you know. And yeah, my expectations are high on Dak Prescott because only because of things that I know he can do and that he may not see at the time, not because of his lack of experience, but because of things that I see myself and him on the field playing. So that's why my expectations be so high. Like, you want to be a $30 million quarterback or $25 million quarterback, you got to prove it. And you play for my team. You play for American team, Dallas Cowboys. So I expect my quarterback to be really good. My Cowboys family in the house, what's up? I expect my quarterback to be really good. So that's why my expectations are so high for Dak Prescott, because I know he can be that type of player when he really locks in and focus. And like my Cowboys family always say, we're still seeing the same things from his rookie year. You mentioned his footwork a while back. So those are the things that I'm hard on him about, because in your third year, you should be better than that. And your coaches should put the pressure on you and to work with you and make you better than that. So it's 50-50, Dak and the coaches, to where they're supposed to work with him together. But back to your question about Sunday's game, Dak Prescott, I got Dak throwing 2 touchdowns. I got Bryce getting a touchdown. I got Tavon getting another one. I got Zeke running in a touchdown. Dak Prescott, he's gonna run. He's gonna do some RPO. He's not gonna do much. I don't think he's gonna do much he did last week, because Seattle, they some hard hitters. Cam Chancellor's retired, and with Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas back there, it was just dangerous, and you're playing in shark water. But it just doesn't seem like Earl Thomas is all the way 100% dedicated to the Seahawks, and they're gonna be so worried. You know what's crazy? Um, Everybody talked about, oh, who y'all gonna throw it to? Y'all got a bunch of nameless receiver, and to a certain extent, we do. But see, I talked about this a while ago. Popular names is gonna ruin these teams. They're paying for these names. They're not paying for the talent anymore. They're paying for names, and you can get production out of lower level receiver. Hell, last year we got beat by a damn receiver on Green Bay that I made fun of before we played him. I said, "Who the hell is Geronimo?" I'm not worried about no damn Geronimo. He was a running back or something. And Geronimo ran all over the Cowboys last year from Green Bay. So you can't let the name trick. So don't be shocked if Dak had big yardage, because they underestimating throwing the passing game and worried about Zeke so much. I got Dak playing. I got him going over 200 this week. I know y'all like, oh, it's Earl Thomas. It's Earl Thomas. Look, man, they're gonna be worried about Ezekiel. And the Cowboys are really up in their passing game. That's why they brought Bryce back. I think Dak is going to crack 200 this week. I think he's going to have a really big, solid game. That twin brother, that boy had 2 interceptions Monday night. He's pretty damn good. Dak had to watch himself. I don't see Dak throwing any interceptions, but I got Dak cracking 200, throwing 2 touchdowns, and probably running once or twice. If he runs, he's definitely going to slide. He's not taking no hit from nobody over there on the Seattle side. So overall, I got Dak Prescott, solid game, cracking 200, no interception, running for a couple of yards, 2 touchdowns. And those are my expectations, and those are minimum expectations from a quarterback of Dak's stature. So I don't see why he can't do it. Unless, well, I know one thing that could stop him from doing Lanahan playbook, of course. But if Lanahan be aggressive, see, here's the thing: we came out aggressive Sunday and we closed the playbook and just went back to what we did, and that's why we didn't score again to fourth quarter. And honestly, without Tavon Austin first touchdown, I don't even know what the score would have been. We probably wouldn't have won without Tavon. And it all depends on what Lanahan's doing. If Lanahan's letting the boys play football and calling good plays and all that good stuff, Dak Prescott can have a good game. He's almost cracking 200. It's going to be 200 this week. He's getting there. Guys always talk about, oh, Dak ain't throw 300. Dak ain't throw 400. Troy Amy averaged around 200 yards when we win the Super Bowl. Like Troy Aikman wasn't a big arm. It's not about that, man. We won Super Bowls from running the ball. Pretty much it was a running game back in the 90s. That's how we won Super Bowls, because we ran the ball, and now it's about, oh, my quarterback can throw 300. Oh, my quarterback can throw 400. Look, what you saw from Mahomes and the Conor McGregor lookalike, you're not going to see that every Sunday. It's just not. NFL just doesn't work like that. Cornerback and safeties make a lot of money to stop things like that. And I don't want Dak to try to be a big arm throwing guy, because he's not there yet. Dak can do that when everything is flowing right. You look at Green Bay, he threw 3 touchdowns, scored 31 points both times we played him, over 300 yards against, Aaron Rodgers. So when everything is flowing right, Dak Prescott can throw big, but we don't need that every game. That doesn't define you. Tom Brady threw for over 400 or some yards, and he lost the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford threw over 5,000 yards, and he's ringless. You can't get caught up in things like that. We want to win games. We got to win games, whether it's RPO, Zeke running, dink and dunk. I don't care. But overall, I got Dak Prescott having a really solid game this week, over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Awesome. That's coming a lot. Over 200 yards passing for fifth quarter Cowboys here. And he's agreeing with Deacon and Duncan, guys. So Dak Prescott, and I seen a comment in there. It says, Bryce Butler and Rico need to be on the field at the same time. That can open up the offense. But Bryce Butler just got signed, so I'm really not expecting much out of him in this game. I mean, there's 7 wide receivers. How many is going to be active? Is Bryce going to be active for this game, right? So let's give some shout-outs real quick. My Cowboys family, working class Cowboy, Billy Joe in the house, Joe Gomez, and Buddy Johnson, guys. What is up? Thank you for joining the live stream. Now, if you're not subscribed to Fifth Quarter Cowboys, he will drop his link in the chat, and make sure you go and hit subscribe. If you're subscribed to me, you got to be subscribed to him. He's my brother from another mother, and that's just how it is. And so, anyway, let's do. Yep, go take a bath. And so let's talk about the wide receivers. Hell, there's 7 of them. Let's say the Dallas Cowboys wanted to shrink down to. Okay, let's say the Dallas Cowboys wanted to go down to 5 wide receivers. That leaves 2 getting cut. Who will they be? Mid-season cuts. They want to get down to 5 wide receivers. Who are the 2 that's going to get cut? I'm thinking Noah Brown and Terrence Williams. What do you got?
I can see Noah Brown getting cut. It's really hard for me to see T. Will get cut. I look at T. Will like Beasley. He's a veteran. He know the playbook. He's a good blocker. And T. Will is a way better blocker than Allen Hurns. I can see Noah Brown and Allen Hurns being gone. I can see that $6 million being gone. We've been wasting money year round. They don't care about wasting it. You said that before. So if 2 wide receivers were to get cut, I'm gonna say Noah Brown, but it's hard because that's Zeke Boy, so I can see why they keep him. But I'm still gonna stick with Noah Brown and Allen Hurns, because Allen Hurns is just, like I said months ago when we got him, he was on a team that almost went to the Super Bowl. If he was effective in that, if he was a part of the reason they almost went to the Super Bowl, he would still be there. You can count on one hand the number of players Jacksonville cut last year, and he was one of them. If I'm on a team and I'm good and I'm really good and we almost go to the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna cut me. So I just don't think Allen Hurns is what we thought. I just thought they needed to do something, and try to up the receiver game, because it was so bad last year, and they just thought Allen Hurns was the answer, but they're not even using him that much. They figured out that they had guys that ran way crispier routes, and Michael Gallup run smoother routes. Of course, Beasley run way smoother routes. Tavon Austin just gets separation so good that it don't even matter because he's so fast. Deontay Thompson got opened a lot last week, even though he was one of the guys I saw get cut, and he did initially get cut, but they brought him back for some reason. And Michael Gallup is a rookie that's probably going to develop as the season goes on. I can see Allen Hurns and Noah Brown being gone because at this point, with that many receivers already active, why would you need Noah Brown? He's not even on the practice squad as a receiver. He's hurt. Noah Brown, Allen Hurns are the guys I see being gone. Leo, what's up? Joe Gaines, what's up? Hello, Newman, what's up? Manny Man 84, what's going on? Buddy Johnson, hello. So yeah, I see Allen Hurns and Noah Brown getting cut.
Well, let's touch on this real quick. We touched on it on your show yesterday, but really didn't get in depth of it. And no, I was talking about, the snaps by the wide receivers. Cole Beasley leads the team with 117 snaps. Everybody else is in the 50s to 60s. Tavon Austin's the only one with 28 snaps. And then you look at the leading receiver in yards, and it's Cole Beasley with 86 yards. Do you feel like these wide receivers are even being used the correct way? If out of 2 games, your leading receiver only has 86 yards. I mean, he's averaging 8.6 yards a catch. But in two weeks of football, he only has 86 yards. So is it Allen Hurns or is it the play calling?
It could be a mixture of both. Because the couple of times I saw Allen Hurns got targeted, he did catch the ball. But out of the receivers, he's being used less than any of them. Beasley, of course, is gonna have carry the boatload. I think Tavon made his name last week. They said he made his name in training camp, but last week really put it on the table for Tavon. Tavon ain't going nowhere. Tavon and Beasley are gonna get the boatloads, I think, as the season goes on. But you could be right because I don't think, prior to the season started, when they got rid of Dez, it's like, oh, we want to be Dak friendly. We win when we spread the ball. We do this and we do that. And Dak and they are spreading it. But if you're gonna be find your identity. We don't have an identity. We're not a running team like they said we are. We are not. We're clearly not. They can stop saying that because Zeke will have 22 plus carries like you said you want him to have. He would have 22 plus carries if we were a running team. That's a fact. I don't care what they say. We're not a Dak-friendly passing team because you would pass the ball way more than that, and you would spread that you would spread that offense out and have way more complicated, complex plays than you're having. Like, the only thing we're getting is slant routes. Tavon and Michael Gallup were the only 2 deep balls we've tried in the past 2 games. Only 2. Not saying you do it all the time, but you got speedy guys. I've seen Beasley go down there and get one. I've seen Michael Gallup do it in the preseason. Tavon showed you he can do it last week, and I think that's what they brought Bryce back for. So first of all, you got to find your identity. Do you want Dak to try to become a Tony Romo, or do you want this team to be like they were when we had Emmitt Smith in the backfield? You got to find your identity. Now, granted, we had an elephant-ass offensive line back then that could nobody stop, and we was going to pound them. But if you keep running, defenses will break down. They will break down, and that's the only way you're going to get Connor Williams better. You have to do it in game. Let him go up against these big guys, man. Don't go away from it. Let him try. Yeah, you get strong on weights, but you also get strong hitting head up against a big defensive lineman. You only get better by experience, not by watching it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you do. Back in the day, back in 2012, when I became a truck driver, before I actually started driving trucks, I used to watch YouTube videos like, oh, I can do that, I can do that, until I actually got in the truck and I can do shit. The only time I got better is when I was driving around the country myself and learned myself. Experience did it for me. That's what did it for me. Not reading the manual, not reading the CDL book, not watching nobody else. Actually driving off every state on the map. I'd have been there, and that's how I got good. And that's the only way Connor Williams is gonna get good. In-game experience, not at practice, because we saw Chaz Green go up against Taco at practice and did good, but when it went against Claiborne and got Dak sacked 6 times, well, 8 total. So it's basically all about in-game experience. Do you want to be a running team or you want to be a passing team? What do you want to do? Because Michael Irvin did what he did because they were scared of Emmitt Smith, so that's what they was worried about. And Michael Irvin was one-on-one and punished everybody that went up against him. So we got to find our identity. You got to have an identity as a team. Aaron Rodgers' identity isn't running the ball. It's tricking you. It's making DBs, it's fooling DBs and throwing the ball. Tom Brady never had a star running back, really. His identity is throwing. He got a great coach also. You got to find your identity. Once you find your identity, that's when you can go forward with what you need to do for the rest of the season. We don't know what we want to do right now. We don't know if we want to pass. You're giving Zeke 15, 16 carries, and then you're throwing the ball to a tight end 80 times. That's no damn team identity. That's no team identity. We're a team without a star tight end. We don't have a star tight end. Rico's not a star. Y'all like him, but he's not a star. They line a Don Schultz up at fullback. He's not active. Blake Jordan's with the hands team. He's dropping onside kicks. Jeff Swain is just there because he's a veteran. We got to get our identity, man. Once we get our identity, we're going to be unstoppable. In 2016, our identity was running. Look at the yardage. 16 yards from Zeke. Lead rushing. Like, we got to get our identity back. They're scared. Leatherhead is afraid. Once we get our identity back and show who we were and who we started to build on in 2016, we was looking like the 90s. For a lot of years, we wasted this offensive line and got a lot of these guys banged up to a point where they can't come back. I say all the time with Tyron Smith, you can get a knee replacement, hip replacement, can replace your back. You only get one of them. And for a lot of years, man, we ruined it. We ruined these guys. We ruined them. So I think overall, once we figure out who we are again, and it should be a running team, because what are you paying Zeke for? You're not paying Zeke for 15 carries. Once you do that, we'll be a better team. And it's really 13-3 proves that running the ball can help us win games or get to the Super Bowl. Yeah, we had a blunder in the playoffs. Our defense. I tell you what, if we had Chris Richard in 2016, that playoff game, Aaron Rodgers would have made that throw. Aaron Rodgers would have made that throw. That's it. Space Cowboy, what's up, man?
And yeah, speaking of Space Cowboy 17, guys, he is also a brother from another mother. Space Cowboy, if you put your comment in the comment section below, I will make you a moderator so you can drop your channel link just in case no one has followed you. And if you haven't, make sure you go follow Space Cowboy 17, guys. And if you watch this after the show, hit the live chat and follow the chat. And then once Space Cowboy drops that link, click on it if you're not subscribed. Another awesome creator here on the YouTube platform, guys, along with my Cowboys family, the legend Dallas Cowboy fan 1980, and the whole roundtable crew. So, what's up, Luis? What's up, Joe again? What's up, Manuel? Hello, Newman. Leo in the house. Leo helps me run the Facebook page, so big shout out to Leo. But all right, Space Cowboy 17, you ready for your first question?
Go for it.
This is for $1 million. What's your expectation on Dak Prescott?
Cut him. No, I'm playing. To be honest with you, my expectations are the following. Don't turn the ball over. Facilitate offense and do what you got to do. I think that's the winning formula for the Cowboys. Clearly, Dak Prescott, I believe he's only in his whole career has lost only one game when he's turned the ball over. I believe, and I think that was his first game. So when I look at Dak Prescott, am I expecting him to have this 300-yard passing it? No. Can he? Yeah, sure. But I think that that's not what the identity of this team is. I think the identity of this team is play stingy defense and play keep away. And if that means, well, you win, I don't know, like 23-10 or 20-6, then that's fine with me. Ultimately, if you can find a way to make Dak Prescott feel comfortable, run the football with him. Clearly, he wants to run the football. He wants to be involved in the offense because the thing with Dak is that he wants to have an offense that he feels comfortable in. And I think what makes him comfortable is him running the ball, getting in rhythm. And whether that's the RPOs, because we saw a lot of them on Sunday against the Giants, I think that, hey, if Dak Prescott says, you know what, I want to be able to run the ball and I want to be able to pass the ball when I think that I need to pass the ball, then that's fine with me. I know, I guess, I was listening to you guys a little bit earlier when DJ was saying, DJ having his high expectations, and there's nothing wrong with having a high expectation with your quarterback because you got to understand that he's going to be your franchise guy. Assuming that they give him another contract, you're investing into this guy for the next 5, 6, 10 years. So you better hope that, you're ready to make that kind of investment. And I think that Dak Prescott, as of right now, he's on pace to make it so that the Cowboys make that investment. So right now, I'm expecting Dak to have a game about like I don't know, like 200 total yards of offense by himself. Passing and running. I expect him to have 2 touchdowns, one in the air and one on the ground. So not too much. I really feel that Zeke's going to break out this game though.
Hey, that's a good point, Space Cowboy 17. As you notice the trends of Ezekiel Elliott over the weeks, he's trending upwards in yardage. Connor Williams is finding his feet. And surprising enough, this rookie really hasn't committed any penalties. So he's really starting to get into the groove of things and starting to move people out of the way. He is a rookie, and he's going up against grown men who is probably – a quarter of more of his body weight. You know what I mean? So maybe he has to hit the weight room a little bit, eat some more protein, and get right. But Connor Williams is really playing pretty good, along with Joe Looney. And I like what the Dallas Cowboys did against the Giants. It's coming out, bam, Tavon Austin. They didn't even run the ball that drive. They play action a little bit, and the rest was history there. But let's go ahead and move on. We talked about your Dak Prescott expectations. This front seven, this top 5 defense right now in the NFL, they're 9 sacks, one up behind the Chicago Bears, who have 10. So what is your expectation for this defense and Chris Richard, who is going home? Space Cowboy.
Well, for me personally, I think that I'm not expecting like 6 sacks again, but I am expecting them to get around 3 or 4 because I think it's going to be by default because Russell Wilson is a scrambling quarterback. He's going to want to try and escape the pocket, and if we can replicate what Chicago did against Seattle, we'll be fine. But I'm not expecting Seattle to just lie down and not do anything. When I look at what Chris Richard brings to this defense, I think that I think he understands how the Seattle's offense, in essence, works and what kind of defensive alignments are needed to go against them. Now, I'm not expecting a blowout, absolutely not. But what I will say is that I'm expecting the defense to be stingy, even though on the stat sheet it might not show that they have a sack or more per se. I fully expect them to at least commit 1 turnover, whether it's interception or fumble recovery. And who knows? I mean, I think that this defense, it's going to get better. I mean, we saw it get better. Like when we said week 1, Carolina, wow, if this defense looks this good, just wait until it gets better. It got better versus New York. And I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, the Cowboys defense is overrated because they went up against the Giants. But at the end of the day, they still have to do their job. And I think that that's what they have to do because for those that don't know, Russell Wilson is nursing a hamstring injury and he's going to play. So his mobility might be hindered. So I fully expect that the Cowboys defense try to swarm in on him and try to keep him in the pocket because I feel that, and for those that don't know, if Russell Wilson doesn't use his legs, the Cowboys tend to do well or stay competitive in the games. So.
Absolutely. I got a question here from Manuel, and he says, who will be the standout wide receiver in this game? And does Zeke get 100 yards? Fifth quarter Cowboys, I'm going to pass it on to you once he's done. Space Cowboy 17, go as followed.
I think you're going to see all the wide receivers numbers kind of balance out this week because of the type of, once again, I mentioned earlier, you got to be careful when you're playing a safety like Earl Thomas. So I think you're going to see all the wide receivers number kind of balance, and I don't think anyone is really going to stand out per se. I mean, you might get Beasley who will catch the slant routes and go for a few more yards, but I don't think anyone's going to be a big standout because, once again, Earl Thomas back there, he's smart. God Almighty, he's smart. He can read the best of them. So I think the Cowboys are going to be careful, and they're not going to really go for the big plays that would, risk us getting an interception or something like that. I think the ball is going to be spread out between Tavon, Deontay Thompson, Beasley, and Bryce Butler a lot. You might see Michael Gallup here and there, but I don't know. I think once again, like Football News said earlier, Beasley beginning the bulk of the carries, and I think you're going to continue to see that throughout this game because he's a veteran and he knew how to handle defense like Seattle because Beasley he handled Eagles in 2016. He handled the Vikings in 2016. He handled, all the defenses that everybody said he handled Baltimore in 2016. These are the defense that was pretty good in 2016. And Beasley, he's a veteran, and you're going to see probably the bulk of carries come from him. He's probably going to be at the most yards, but I don't see nothing spectacular coming from this defense. This offense, these receivers, because the Eagles are, not the Eagles, pardon me, the Seahawks are an okay defense. And that twin brother, the safety or whatever position he plays, not the one with the one hand, the other one, he's good. He had 2 interceptions Monday. He's good. He's good. But like I say, I don't see no receiver standing out per se, but I think you're going to see everybody getting carries, and Beasley probably going to have the bulk and the most yards like he's been having the past 2 games. Ezekiel Elliott cracking 100 yards. Seahawks are really good at tackling. Their linebackers are good. Their linemen, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to crack 100. It depends on how they do it. Up the middle, nah. But we can get some screen passes and tosses and reverses and all that good stuff going. You can see Zeke. Okay, I'll say this. I can see 85. I'll give him 85. I just don't think Connor Williams and Joe Looney are ready to, do what it takes to open up the running game yet. I can't see Joe Looney getting to the second level of tackling to get to that linebacker. Not say he can't, but he hasn't played enough football to be able to get off his lineman and get to the second level of, blocking like Travis Frederick could. And that's effective. That's effective in the running game because if we can't get to the second level of blocking to stop the linebacker, that's put a halt on Zeke yardage. So it's a lot of things that plays into Zeke not cracking 100 yards. It's not just him running. It's his team helping him also. And it's just a couple of things that I'm not sure about. It could be a holding call that can bring yardage back. It could be Tyron Smith holding, Lyle Collins holding, not getting to second level of blocking, Connor Williams breaking down. It could be a lot of things, man. It could be Dak in the RPO pulling the ball back out of Zeke's hand because he sees something else. It could be anything, Not saying Zeke is not capable, but 100 yards is not solely on Ezekiel Elliott. It's the whole team. So overall, I'm gonna say 85, just because of any factors that can help Zeke or contribute to Zeke cracking 100 yards. And the NFL is not about big arm pass and cracking 100 yards. It's about the team being effective as a whole. If Zeke is so effective that they respect him enough to fill up the box, then his job is done. You still want your running back to run the ball, but if they filling up the box and opening up the passing game, then you really can't complain about him not getting 100 yards. Because when you respect the running back that much that you're filling up the box and you open up the passing game for us, it's a good thing. So overall, just with the type of powerful defense Seattle's like to play, it's going to be hard for Zeke to crack 100 yards with Joe Looney and Connor Williams side by side like that. And, we dealing with Lyle Collins with all his penalties he's getting. So I'll say 85, man. I'll say 85.
All right. I'll go next. But for me, I like what DJ points out is that with these wide receivers, they're just so like the rotation is so balanced that it's really hard to have a standout performer. You had Cole Beasley in week 1. Then you had Tavon in week 2. Week 3, it's going to be kind of hard. But I'm going to go – I really think that for some reason, Tavon Austin – not Tavon Austin, excuse me. Allen Hurns, I think he's going to have one of those games where it's just like people are they're not looking at him right. You know what I mean? Like they're overlooking him, and then he's gonna do what he does best with his skill set, because they're not looking at him. And I like and to answer the second question with Zeke, how many yards does he crack 100? I don't think he cracks 100. I think he gets around 85, 90. But 100 total yards I could see from the passing game. I think that, and like DJ says, listen, if we saw last week, Giants were loading the box and Dak was able to make those throws to get some yardage. And the fact is the Cowboys, they love going on long time or clock killing drives to win games. And I think if you saw the last Cowboys offensive drive, it was an 8-minute drive that lasted 14 plays. And I think that that's what this offense, I think that's what their identity is. Just play keep away, do the read option plays. And I think that, look, we saw Zeke Elliott get his fair share of big runs. And there were some where if he just cut a certain way or he just, increased his speed or whatever, he would have been to the house. So to me, I think that, listen, Zeke has another solid outing. Over 100? I don't think so. But obviously, you know what? Prove me wrong, Zeke. But yeah, that's what I got for Zeke and this wide receivers.
So nobody has Ezekiel Elliott going over 100 yards. So I will be the first one to tell you Zeke's going to get 105 yards rushing today or on Sunday with the 1-yard touchdown. Or just with a touchdown. It don't matter if it's 1 yard, goal line stands, whatever, you know what I mean. But Leo wants to know, do you think T. Will gets cut? Noah wants to know, do you see Rico Gathers getting more playing time? And Manuel wants to know, what wide receiver sits this week? 3 questions coming at you. Space Cowboy, take it away.
Okay, so I guess the first one is about Rico. Does he get more playing time? For me, no. I think that it's going to come down to just a rotation. I think that if Rico gets the hot hand, he will definitely be out there more often. But for right now, no. What was his next question?
Do you think T. Will gets cut, and what wide receiver sits? Are they going to have?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Does T. Will get cut? As of right now, no. I think that T. Will stays on the team until the end of the season, and then they'll make a decision. Because to be honest with you, they're going to have to make a decision: do we keep Allen Hurns or do we keep Terrence Williams? Because both of them are in a similar situation where they're getting paid a decent amount of money. However, they're not producing to fulfill those contracts. So right now, it's kind of like a wait and see kind of thing. And then as for which receiver sits, most likely Bryce Butler because he just got re-signed, and I think that he's just going to get antiquated with the team. Now, if he does play, the one receiver I do see them sitting most likely is probably as much as I hate to say it, maybe Michael Gallup, because I feel that they want to have solid veterans that can work with Dak. Not that they don't want him out there, but I just feel that that's what the Cowboys want to do and not put so much pressure on Gallup to produce at such an early stage in his career so he can develop nicely. So yeah, those are the answers to those 3 questions. Hopefully that answered on my end.
Yep, perfect. Fifth quarter Cowboys, are you there?
So the first question was, will Rico get more playing time?
Yes, this game.
I think you have to because, Seattle really don't have no really tall type of guys. And Earl Thomas, who he is, but he's short. He can't jump over Rico when it comes to catching the ball in the red zone or something like that. So I think you'll see Rico be way more effective this game. They're not going to probably use him in the, like last game. Dak had him. It hurts me that Dak had him wide open, man. He had him wide open, and he missed him. I think we're going to see more of that for Rico. So, yeah, now, they put a picture up on Twitter today of Rico and Tyron Smith practicing blocking today. So, it's he's going to be active. He's going to play a lot more. What was the second question?
Does T. Will get cut? Does T. Will get cut? And what wide receiver sits?
Not during the season.
Yeah.
Not during the season. I don't think during the season he'll get cut. It just don't make sense to keep him this long and then cut him because he's a veteran. Like I said, him and Cole Beasley are the 2 veteran receivers left that has been here because Deontay Thompson, Tavon, they're veterans too. But T. Will's a veteran that has already been here. Last question, what receiver sit? I got to agree with Space Cowboy on this one. If they choose anybody, it'll be Michael Gallup because of the type of aggressive football that Seattle plays. And you want the veterans to be able to handle that. So I can see Michael Gallup sitting this week. I can honestly can. So, yeah, we go get a lot more play. T. Will, he ain't going nowhere yet. And Michael Gallup probably the one that'll sit.
All right. I think T. Will doesn't get cut unless something really bad happens and you got, 5 out of 7 wide receivers that really emerge and T. Will's just the odd man out. That's probably the only way I'll see T. Will get cut. Rico Gathers, if they keep Dalton Schultz deactivated, then Rico Gathers is going to get a lot more playing time. What did he get? 2-3 snaps last week. So if you notice what they did in the preseason, that's how they started it off. They started off slow and they gradually worked them in more. So if they do the preseason, model, then Rico Gathers will get more playing time. There. And then what wide receiver sits? I got to say, if Bryce Butler is inactive, if Bryce Butler, he probably won't play this week. So I'm thinking it's going to be Bryce Butler or Noah Brown who sits out this week. And the Cowboys play with 5 wide receivers. And hell, who knows? They might just activate the 4 tight ends. But Leo says T. Will is trash.
Noah Brown is on IR, though. He already out.
Oh, that's right. So who the hell is those 7 wide receivers then?
Why wouldn't you think Bryce will play this week?
Because it's one of those things. Is he, number one, ready? He hasn't played since the preseason game. And how much of the offense is new? Are we just going to cater the offense to him, though?
The Bryce, he's definitely going to play this week. I don't see him coming back and not playing this week. But yeah, Noah Brown is on IR, man. He was on. That's why I say I can see him getting cut. He got put on IR before the 53-man roster cut. So
That's right. I'm tripping.
I don't know what they're doing with Noah Brown at this point, man. I don't know. But that's interesting though that Bryce Butler could sit out. That's interesting. He could. If he do, I wouldn't have no problem with it because maybe if they got all new play, he probably haven't learned it yet. And Leo said T. Will is trash. Well, Leo, what I would say to you is you got to go look at some of T. Will's best years. And if you're comparing to last year and year before that, everybody pretty much had a down year. Dak threw hella interception. T. Will dropped hella balls. He didn't get no touchdown. But the year Dez Bryant had T. Will's 16 touchdowns, T. Will still managed to get 8. And, he's not trash. T. Will was never an elite receiver. T. Will was just a receiver you can count on when nobody else was paying attention to him to make a big play for you. And as of recently, he hasn't been that. And I think main part of it due to us having a new quarterback and just having adjusted to the type of ball that T. Will are only able to catch. For a long time, he's been a body catcher, and it caught up to him. And this year, he had to learn to catch with his hands, and he just had to adjust to a different style of football. And I don't think T. Will is trash because the Cowboys don't keep trash for a long time unless you're on the defense, because they kept a lot of defensive trash forever. But
hold on, we disconnected.
Oh man,
we might be back though. Hold on 1 second. Let me look.
We live.
Are we back?
I don't know. Are we live? He is and never was a true two. Well, when you got one receiver that your number one getting 16 touchdowns and your number 2 getting 8 touchdowns, that's a true two, brother. That's a true two. He might have showed of recent. I give you that, and that's why he's not a starter right now. But he will have had a couple of good years back in the day. Y'all probably weren't watching when T. Will used to squat him touchdown and do the swag in the end zone. Football news, you know about the T. Will swag.
Oh, I know all about that swag, brother. That swag walk, man.
Right. But yeah, I agree with you. He hasn't been that in the past 3-4 years, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Leo, the only case you can make for our receivers was Dez Bryant in the past because he was the only good one we had. So Was nobody a true two on our receiver core. But show me a wide receiver that had as many close touchdowns to theirs other than T. Will. There weren't any. You can't have a list and swag. Okay, I don't know. Anyways, what else you got, brother?
I believe that's it. Fifth quarter Cowboys.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
I got something. So you didn't tell me how many sacks you think we're going to have this weekend.
Sacks. You want to talk about sacks. Sacks are like snacks. Once you get one, you got to get two. You got to get three. Next thing you know, the whole box is gone. Dallas Cowboys have about 50 sacks this season. They already ate up 6. They're going to eat up about 5 more on Sunday.
Woo! I like that, man. I like that, brother. That sounds good. Do you see Sean Lee being more effective this week?
If he's playing, he's been working with tension cords, and it's officially a hamstring, not a cramp.
Yeah, I said that. I said that yesterday. They was lying like it's. I don't know. It's time for him to go home, in my opinion. Byron Jones and Cheeto. What do you expect out of them, brother? The same thing they've been giving us.
Oh man, and I want a consistency. I don't like inconsistency. I want consistency. If they can do that, we're going to dominate on the outside. And they really, and I don't want to underestimate their wide receivers, but beside Baldwin, I mean, who do they got? You know what I mean? So contain Wilson, contain your wide receivers, play defense. One thing, okay, the Dallas Cowboys got in a fumble, 2 fumbles already, and they've gotten, hella sacks, 9 sacks. I'm ready for them to start catching the football with their hands and getting the ball back to Dak Prescott. And I'm ready to start seeing some freaking interceptions. That's what I want.
So I saw Randy Gregory was in full practice. Dayton Jones in full practice. Xavier Woods still limited. I hope we have X Woods, man. I got to see more from Jalen Smith, y'all. I'm not going to lie. The only thing I saw from Jalen Smith was that hit on Eli. I got to see more. I got to see more. He got to show me.
With Jalen Smith, though, I seen him flying to the ball, dude.
Okay, maybe I missed it, man. But yeah, pretty much that's about it. I got a show coming tomorrow. We're gonna do one tomorrow, and we're gonna give our score predictions on that thing. So if you follow Dallas Cowboys football news and not subscribe to me, please subscribe to me. And I let anybody on my shows. How do you guys see us after David Irving returns? Nobody will be able to stand in the pocket long and look for a receiver when David Irving returns. It's going to be scary. It's going to be scary. You mean to tell me you're going to have Randy Gregory, David Irving, Tank Lawrence out there at the same time, Tyrone Crawford, and probably Daniel Ross or somebody? I mean, man, look, it's going to be bad. It's going to be rough. I don't know. Quarterback going to have to get that ball out fast. I don't care who we playing against. With all those guys out there, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. That's how I see it going down. So I don't know about you, football news. Leo said how you see us after David Irving returns.
David Irving's a playmaker. 7 sacks in 8 games. David Irving gets you sacks. And that's just what it's going to be, guys. And whenever David Irving, Randy Gregory, and Sean Lee and all these guys are on the field, they're like 9-0 or something like that. Crazy numbers. I probably got the personnel a little bit confused, but it's guys that really don't really play together as much due to suspensions and injuries and stuff like that. But some personnel has involved with David Irving and Sean Lee. These guys are 9-0. So let's go. Let's do this. Fifth quarter Cowboys dropped the bomb. We are going live tomorrow on his show. We're going to do score predictions and all kinds of stuff. So if you're not subscribed, slap your damn self. and make yourself go subscribe. All it is you click a little button and he'll pop up in your news feed with nothing but awesome content. That's all I got. Fifth Quarter Cowboys, go ahead and drop it one more time.
Yeah, there y'all go, man. I just dropped the link in the chat, man. Fifth Quarter Cowboys on YouTube. You know, I pretty much keep it simple when I talk. I don't sugarcoat it. I don't, be political. I say what I want, whether it's controversial or not. I know probably some of y'all first time seeing me. Yeah, I appreciate my brother letting me on. Come on here and talk Dallas Cowboy football. We're getting ready for another week of Dallas Cowboy football. Subscribe to our whole crew. Fifth Quarter Cowboys. That's me. Dallas Cowboy Football News. That's my brother that's on here. This is his channel right here. Space Cowboy 17, my Cowboys family, and Dallas Cowboy Feel the Power Fan 1980. And y'all know how we do every week, every Saturday. We do round tables. Sunday we do post-game round tables if it's not too late. And yeah, that's it, man. Every week we dropping Cowboy knowledge, man. This is how we do year round, baby. So thank y'all for watching. Thank my brother for having me on, man. Feel for the Cowboys. Peace out, y'all.
Thank you for joining. Guys, it's been your Dallas Cowboy Football News. Cowboy Nation, peace.